What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about how women are sabotaging their dating experience and turning guys off in a way that we don't often like to talk about, but it's causing some pretty bad experiences. So I think it's important we address it. But before I start, this video is sponsored by Future. Listen, January's gone already. It happened that quick. How many of you are still on top of your New Year's resolutions? Probably not many. Most of us give up in the first week. In general, it's because we don't have the motivation, we don't have the guidance, we don't have anybody standing behind us pushing us, there's no accountability. There's a lot of reasons we quit. But on average, we quit. Every year we set the same goals. Most people's biggest goal is fitness, health, gaining muscle, or losing weight. Whatever your fitness goals are, Future's here to help. Future is an app that pairs you with your own personal, highly credentialed fitness coach to keep you accountable and stay on top of you while also guiding you and giving you the feedback you need to stay on top of your goals. Once you sign up, you have a video call with your coach and they design a custom plan that's right for you. Whether or not you like to use body weight or you prefer equipment or like to work out at home versus the gym, whatever your preference is, Future's coaches can make you a plan that's right for you. Between the voice prompts and all the video check-in calls between you and your coach or the messages that you trade back and forth within the app, you always feel like you have the support you need to meet your goals. These are very experienced coaches who can adjust your plans or work around limitations, all while leading you, guiding you, and holding you accountable in a way that you probably can't hold yourself accountable. So if you're curious about Future and you really want to meet your New Year's resolution goals this year, check out the app in the link below. Now onto this topic. Women want security. Am I wrong? In fact, even women who are already financially secure and professionally as successful as can be want and require at least the same from men, if not more. If you've seen a man online or in person who had observably and obviously given up on being financially fit or successful, or had just given up all his ambitions and settled into failure, would you date him? In fact, pause. Put a 1 in the comment section if you would date that man who had obviously, observably given up. Put a 0 if you wouldn't. For those of you who wouldn't, it's probably because you know that in time, you'll grow resentful of that man for his lack of effort. You'll lose respect for him. You'll feel disconnected from him. And ultimately, the relationship wouldn't work because you wouldn't be satisfied with the man he was or the man he will become, because things can get worse. Most women don't want to date a man who has settled for a struggling and an unambitious lifestyle. But it's not just about money. It's about all of the accessory qualities that come with money or come with the pursuit of it, and all the qualities that would be lacking in a man who didn't have that want or that desire to be financially free or fit or independent or adequate. See, lifestyle is just one part of it. There are dozens of other preferences that women have in men that can be displayed and or assumed by his financial fitness. Other things that represent or allude to a woman having security in a man. Now, we know that our preferences are directly attached to our overall capacity to feel safe in a relationship. They're not just about being shallow. The more of those important preferences that we can check off the list up front, the more optimism and trust that we can put in that relationship's future. That's because we often imagine the relationship that we can have with a person who we can check these important preferences off with, thriving and flourishing, and that opens our heart and our minds for love. We don't assume the amazing or the incredible of the strangers that we see or we observe lack the qualities we desire in a partner. Quite the opposite, actually. We naturally assume that there are more issues hidden deeper under the surface. It's human nature. Are you a bad person because of your desires or your natural categorizations of men that you don't know personally? No, you're human. So with that said, I mean this with kindness and empathy and love and respect in my heart, ladies. Presentation is everything, and you have to start presenting your best selves. And for many of you, that might mean that you need to start getting in shape. And that not being in shape has become an incumbent to you finding a healthy relationship with a partner that you deserve. Not being in shape could be an incumbent to you finding quality, being more confident, and raising your own standards for men and relationships. Now remember, I don't just make videos. I've coached thousands of women, a few hundred of which have admitted to this being a huge factor in the decisions they made with men, the things they accepted, the shit they took, the abuse they endured, the insecurities they've had, and their performance in a relationship. Many have admitted they lowered their standards for a man's conduct, they felt less confident, or they selected and or accepted heavily flawed men just because they thought that the guys that they want or they desired or that they really deserved were out of their league. Many have said they felt less sexy or sexual with their partners, causing a divide in their relationships. A lot of others have admitted feeling too insecure to date or growing apart from their partners because of that insecurity. Many of them have even admitted to giving themselves physically to evil and wicked and dark and despicable men just because they wanted to feel desired by someone, because they didn't think they were sexy and they needed that man's validation, his physical validation that they were desirable, all while enduring mental trauma from the experiences that they had from that man. Not to mention all the women who I know are specifically targeted because of their low self-esteem in relationship to their weight, or those who stay for years in toxic relationships because they're too afraid to be alone and they think that no one else will ever want them. This gets a lot deeper than looks, y'all. Now, I will acknowledge now, because it will be angrily written in the comment section, that everybody can't just go out there and lose weight, that there are some medical issues and incumbents to stop people from just being able to do that. But we got to be honest here. That's a minority. The vast majority of people who struggle with their weight don't have a medical issue. They have a mindset issue. We often hear in church, "I can do anything through Christ who strengthens me." People love this quote, except when you push them to do something that they feel challenged by, or when you push them to change something that they didn't want to acknowledge. Consequently, I push people and I piss a lot of people off. That's not my intention. You can do anything. On top of how you feel about your personal fitness, men also judge your personal fitness, just like women judge a man's financial fitness. It's not just about looks. Just like you'd assume of a broke man, he's not ambitious enough, he can't be depended upon, he won't address his flaws, he's maladaptive, he may not improve over time, he could get worse, he's lazy, he's likely not happy, he'll make excuses, he lacks drive, he won't work hard on the relationship, or that he's insecure. We've heard this, and these are very valid concerns that people have. People often project their insecurities onto other people, and so it's always a concern for a stranger looking at you as a dating prospect. And just like you would have fears about losing respect for a man or growing apart from him because of the disconnect or because of the resentment that grows in you from him not trying to be his best for your family or your household or your relationship, men have the same fears. When you look or appear as though you have given up on being healthy, it's so much harder for a stranger who doesn't know you and doesn't have a reason to love you to assume great and amazing things about you and your potential as a partner, even if those assumptions are wrong. I say all this to say, if your weight is affecting what you think about yourself, what you think you deserve, what you accept or expect from men, or how they're judging you or misjudging you, do something about it. And I say that with love and respect and empathy in my heart. And it's not about being the best, it's about being your best. That makes a statement beyond how good you look. Looking your best, feeling your best, and believing for the best to happen in your life is contagious, and it affects you in other areas. And it also causes people to judge you and assume better things about you. Now, of course, nobody cares about what people think, who needs these men, who wants to impress these men, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But many of you do want love. Many of you are looking for partnership. You do want to be selected. We have to start acknowledging what people want in their partners. And we have to represent those things to a stranger, because strangers don't have a reason to love us or accept us outside of what we attract them with, unfortunately. Because we all have non-observable qualities that won't be desirable. We all have attitude issues. We all have mental health issues. We all have perception issues, communication issues that are bound to come up in a relationship. Love is hard. Relationships are hard. So if that is already a given, we already know the relationship is going to be hard or difficult in different ways depending on the different individual. It makes sense that we be very weary and very selective and very picky upon getting to know a person or being acquainted with them or even seeing a profile online. You have to present your best self. You have to care about your health. It has to look like you care about your health. I'm getting a lot of profile evaluations from women who don't present well. It's because they're in poor health. They have poor style. There's a lot of different things that have to do with presentation. Presentation is everything to a stranger. It's all they have to judge us. And if we're being very honest, we don't judge ourselves for the things that we don't like about ourselves very well. And if you don't like it, why should a stranger love it? So again, I don't mean any harm. I don't mean any disrespect, but this is something that we have to start being a little bit more real about. So again, if you want to do something about it, if you're tired of feeling like that, if you're tired of letting that be an incumbent to you find the person that you'd select instead of waiting for whomever just accepts you for what you are or who you are. If you want to have some choice in selecting instead of waiting for your turn to get picked by somebody who might be subpar because you have these insecurities, please do something about it. Go join a gym, check out the sponsor in the link below. Do something about your weight if it's causing you pain. Of course, there are men who will love you. Of course, you deserve to be loved. Of course, you need to be respected. Of course, all of these things. We get it. I know that. But that's not how the world works. The world judges. We judge. Why not take more dominion over that portion of the process? If you want to do something about it and you don't know where to start, check out Future Fitness or scour YouTube. There are a million trainers on here. Just do something about it. Kick that problem out of your life in 2023. Don't carry that into the next 5 or 10 or 15 or 40 years like I've known some people to do. It's so much harder to live with that issue long term over the span of many years than it is to put the few months or even the year or so into getting yourself together in that way and staying together. One of them is more traumatic than the other one, and I know it's not working out. I can tell you that as an ex-trainer. I hope this helps. I hope I haven't injured anyone in saying this. Sorry if I've hurt anybody's feelings about this, but we got to be honest about this stuff. We got to really address these issues. Go to my website if you need coaching. I'll get with y'all later.